Tomato soup might have been the answer to every character building experience in my childhood. If I was cold, here's your tomato soup. Ah, you fell out of a tree. Here's your tomato soup. Your girlfriend dumped you after you gave her those dead flowers. Maybe you should have gave her some tomato soup. How about we go have some and discuss this? There's still a chance. Canned soup was like the bandaid that made all of those experiences better. Today, it doesn't do that. I pay bills, then I go eat some tomato soup. I still feel like I just paid bills. And I realize it just doesn't hit the spot like it used to. Man, but this homemade version, you won't be able to get enough of. Titled on my website, Not Your Average Canned Tomato Soup. Also, I think I've become a year-round soup person, maybe not the summer. This recipe is simple, delicious, and has minimal ingredients, but also gives you that oversized stuffed animal type of comfy. We start bringing this meal together with olive oil and plant butter. Traditionally, butter is used to add some flavor, and so is the oil, but the oil is more importantly going to help the butter from browning. Here, we're doing something similar, but because plant butter is typically made with oil, it doesn't really brown. The plant butter I use is made with avocado oil, and I like the taste of olive oil. If you want to reserve a tablespoon of oil, you could use just olive oil to get the recipe started, or you can do a plant butter that's made up of olive oil. Once we get the onions in there, our goal here is to replicate more of a roasted kind of feel rather than a caramelized version. So if you keep the heat on medium high and occasionally disrupt those onions, you'll begin to see charred bits and pieces, and you'll know that you're doing it right. And although the entire thing is liquefied at the end, you don't want to rough chop the onions or the garlic, as that would reduce your ability to replicate that roasted kind of feel. I'm using canned whole peel tomatoes to bring the recipe together. But the question is, do you actually need to peel your tomatoes? Like, could you just grab freshly store-bought tomato produce and toss it into the recipe and continue through the process? Well, the answer is it depends. If you're getting those hearty beefsteak tomatoes, or plum tomatoes, or Roma tomatoes, they all have a pretty thick outer skin, which isn't inviting for a smooth soup, but they also have a heavy bitterness to it. So what you would want to do is spend additional time roasting the fresh tomatoes in the oven. Then remove the skin to accompany that perfect, smooth, not so bitter result. Speaking of silky smooth, if you need to replace the coconut milk, my first choice would be soy milk, then silken tofu. My second would be oat milk. Neither of these options would add the same natural sweetness that the coconut milk offers. So tasting and adjusting would be required. As far as the spices go, celery salt isn't really one of those you might have in your pantry. And you can't just sub with normal salt. I would recommend either celery seed or just using fresh celery and tossing it in there with the onions in the beginning. Right before your ingredients go into the blender, you're reducing the mixture for about 30 to 45 minutes. Do not skip this, as this is where that magical concentrated flavor happens. Also, I love kitchen gadgets. And if you do not have a high-speed blender, another good option is an immersion blender. You could probably even leave yourself some chunky bits if that's what you like in your soup. This recipe you can find linked in the description, or you can head right over to my website, makeitdairyfree.com. Thank you so much for watching. Believe in good. Peace.